Hello everyone, welcome back to One Engineer. In the previous episode, we understood the complete automotive product lifecycle, from concept design all the way till production. But today, we are going deeper into one of the most important activities in automotive product development, and that is DFMEA, Design, Failure Mode, and Effects Analysis. Now, this may sound like a complicated engineering term, but trust me, by the end of this video, you will clearly understand what DFMEA is, why companies use it, how engineers perform it, and how it helps prevent failures before production. And most importantly, I'll explain it using real automotive examples. Now let's think practically. What happens if a car part fails after reaching the customer? Maybe the dashboard starts rattling, water starts leaking through the door, or the center console develops cracks after some months. Sometimes even small failures can create customer dissatisfaction, warranty claims, noise issues, or safety risks. And in automotive industry, these failures are extremely expensive. Because once a vehicle reaches the market, correcting problems becomes very difficult and costly. Imagine recalling thousands of vehicles just because of one small design issue. That is exactly why automotive companies try to predict failures before production. And that predictive approach is called DFMEA. So, what exactly is DFMEA? DFMEA stands for Design, Failure Mode, and Effects Analysis. It is a structured engineering method used to identify possible failures in a product before manufacturing begins. In simple words, DFMEA helps engineers ask questions like, what can fail? Why can it fail? What will happen if it fails? How serious is the failure? Can we prevent it? And based on these answers, engineers improve the design before production starts. This is one of the most powerful risk management tools used in automotive development. Almost every OEM and supplier uses DFMEA during concept design, detailed design, validation, and production preparation. Now, let's look at some real automotive failures. These are not theoretical examples. These are actual issues engineers deal with during development. First, squeak and rattle. This happens when parts vibrate against each other because of poor fitment, weak mounting, or material friction. Next, clip breakage. Plastic clips may crack because of high insertion force, weak material, or poor rib design. Then, sink marks. These are visible dents or depressions on plastic surfaces caused by uneven wall thickness or material shrinkage. Another common issue is warpage. Parts bend or twist because of improper cooling, residual stress, or weak design support. Then comes a very critical issue, airbag interference. If nearby components interfere with airbag deployment, it becomes a serious safety concern. And finally, water leakage. Improper sealing or gap management can allow water entry into the cabin. Now imagine all these failures happening after production. The cost becomes massive. That is why DFMEA is performed early during design stages. So now the question is, why is DFMEA so important? First, cost saving. Finding problems during design is much cheaper than fixing them after tooling or production. Second, customer safety. DFMEA helps identify safety-critical risks early. Third, quality improvement. Products become more reliable, stable, and robust. And fourth, warranty reduction. Good DFMEA reduces field failures, customer complaints, and warranty claims. So overall, DFMEA improves quality, safety, customer satisfaction, and development efficiency. Now let's understand the actual DFMEA flow. The first step is function. What is the part supposed to do? Then, failure mode. How can the part fail? Then, effect. What happens if the failure occurs? Then, cause. Why can the failure happen? Next, prevention. What can we do to avoid the failure? Then, detection. Can we detect the problem before reaching the customer? And finally, action plan. What engineering actions should be taken to reduce risk? This structured flow helps engineers systematically analyze the design. Now let's understand DFMEA using a real automotive example. Let's take a door trim clip. Its function is to hold the door trim panel securely onto the door structure. Now, what can fail? The clip can crack or break. That is the failure mode. What happens if it fails? The door trim becomes loose, creates rattling noise, or may even fall off partially. That becomes the effect. Now, what could cause this failure? Possible causes may include high insertion force, weak material, incorrect clip geometry, or excessive vibration. Now comes severity. How serious is the effect? If customer comfort and fitment are affected, the severity may be medium to high. Then occurrence. How likely is this failure to happen? If the material and design are weak, occurrence increases. Then detection. Can engineers detect the issue during testing or validation? And finally, RPN is calculated. This helps engineers decide which failures need immediate attention. Then corrective actions are taken, like improving rib support, changing material, or optimizing insertion force. Now let's understand severity. Severity means how serious the effect of failure is. In DFMEA, severity is usually rated from 1 to 10. Higher severity means higher impact on customer or vehicle function. For example, if an airbag does not deploy correctly, severity becomes extremely high. If there is brake failure, again, severity is extremely high. But if there is only slight rattling noise, severity may be low or medium. Severity mainly focuses on customer impact, vehicle function, and safety consequences. Important point: severity cannot be reduced easily unless the effect itself changes. Next comes occurrence. Occurrence means how frequently the failure is likely to happen. In simple words, probability of failure. If the design is weak or similar failures already happened in older projects, occurrence becomes higher. Good design robustness reduces occurrence. For example, better material selection, stronger mounting, proper rib support, and good tolerance control all help reduce occurrence. Occurrence is strongly related to design quality and engineering robustness. Now let's understand detection. Detection means how easily the failure can be identified before the product reaches the customer. If the issue can be easily detected through inspection, validation, or testing, then detection rating becomes low, which is good. But if the failure is difficult to identify, then detection rating becomes high. For example, if cracks are clearly visible during inspection, detection is easy. But if the failure occurs only after months of vehicle usage, then detection becomes difficult. Good validation and testing activities improve detection capability. Now comes one of the most important parts of DFMEA: RPN, Risk Priority Number. RPN is calculated using RPN equals severity times occurrence times detection. Higher RPN means higher engineering attention required. Let's take an example. Suppose severity is 7, occurrence is 4, and detection is 5. Then the RPM becomes 140. This indicates the issue needs corrective action. RPN helps teams prioritize which failures should be addressed first. So, how do engineers reduce DFMEA risk? There are many methods. First, material improvements. Using stronger and tougher material can reduce breakage. Second, rib improvements. Proper rib design improves stiffness and strength. Third, validation. Testing helps identify failures before production. Fourth, tolerance control. Good GDT and tolerance stack-up improve fitment and quality. And finally, stronger mounting strategy. Better mounting improves durability and reduces vibration-related failures. All these actions help reduce severity, occurrence, or improve detection, which ultimately reduces the RPN. So this was the complete introduction to DFMEA. Now you understand what DFMEA is, why it is important, how failures are analyzed, and how engineers reduce risk before production. In upcoming videos, we'll go deeper into automotive mounting strategies, plastic design rules,